I live on top of the hill. But every day I go down to the village to buy the food that I'm going to cook that night. Welcome to what's left of the Italian-American neighborhood in San Francisco. I'm Gianni, and this is my North Beach. So it looks a little different here. We're not up in my little kitchen up on Russian Hill. We're at the Cookhouse on Columbus in North Beach. It's a great facility. It's a great kitchen for demonstrations. You can hold private parties here. We're really excited. This is the first time we're here in Cookhouse. And we have with us today Mark Leslie. He wrote the book Beyond the Pasta. And Mark's here with us.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Benvenuti.
So Mark and I are doing a little bit of a cook-off today. We're going to do chicken and potatoes, right, Mark?
That's right. That's exactly right.
So Mark learned his recipes in Viterbo, which is a little town that's northwest of Roma.
See?
And he spent every morning in the kitchen with Nonna, and he learned all of her secrets. So these are two of her recipes, right?
That's right. That's right.
What are you going to be making for us?
I'm making rosto panato, which is roasted bread, is what that means. And I'll also be making panate con seme di finocchio, roasted potatoes with fennel seed.
And this is all from Lazio.
See, northern Lazio, almost Tuscany, just south of Tuscany.
So I'm going to do my chicken and potatoes from Campania, the area inland from Naples. I'm going to do my mother's breaded cutlets. So we're going to do those in an egg wash and then breadcrumbs, and we're going to fry them in oil on top of the stove. And then I'm also going to make her version of potato croquette, which is a mashed potato flavored, breaded, and then also fried. And that's a specialty not only of my mother's kitchen, but of the Frigitoria in Naples, these little fry shops where you can go in and grab one of these croquettes and it'll tide you over until dinner.
That's right, un spuntino.
Sì, un spuntino. Sì. Okay, so we're going to get to it.
So let's go ahead and make this dish. It's really simple, which all Italian cooking is, and I think that's what is really beneficial about cooking Italian. It's simple, direct from the ground to the table in the fewest steps possible. Well, let me show you how few these steps are. I've got the chicken cutlets here, scallopini, and we're going to put just a little bit of salt and pepper on both sides. But in between all of that, I'm going to put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Now, this is where the dish gets a little different. Normally you would batter these in an egg wash and then go into the breadcrumbs. I'm going to use my fingers. No judgments. What I loved when I lived with Nonna is that she was always preparing the same dish in a different way. So besides learning this version of cutlets, I learned how to bread them. I learned how to make them with an egg wash sauce, kind of a extra, using an egg to kind of thicken a sauce with lemon over it. There, that's it. And we're just going to turn these so they coat in the olive oil on both sides. Breadcrumbs. That's maybe a cup of breadcrumbs. Parmigiano Reggiano, and it's grated. And we'll put that in. And now we're just going to stir it up to combine it. In go the cutlets. I'm going to turn them over on both sides. This is the best tool in the kitchen. Arsensi del Signore, the hands of God. The tools of God, excuse me, are your hands. I know, right? You should think my Italian. Please get in there. Prego, prego. And then this goes into a non-stick skillet to saute. I turned up the heat on this.
You're getting some color.
Yeah. They're very simple. And because the cutlets are thin, they're scallopini, it means the chicken's going to cook fast. So you're really just roasting these fillets. And once they come out, we'll put a little lemon juice and a little parsley. Finito.
Basta così.
Basta così. The cutlets are cooking, and if you've noticed, some of it gets a little dark. Now, I know most of us would think that that was burnt. It's actually not. It's just roasted, and that's what you want. Cutlets are done. Really simple. Maybe 3 minutes each side, 4 minutes each side, and they're done. So, Gianni, you're going to plate this.
Perfetto.
See? Bellissima. And we'll bring it over here, and we're just going to garnish it. A little bit of parsley on it, just a little bit, and then we're going to take lemon juice, and we'll just put a little bit of lemon juice over the top. There you go. So this dish is patate con semi di finocchio, which means potatoes with fennel seed. It's a really simple dish. It's roasted potatoes, but the fennel seed kind of has a little earthy flavor to it. So let's get started. You'll take a couple baked potatoes and peel them. I'm just going to peel these up real quick.
You can't use my potatoes.
I have my own potatoes, Gianni. So it's time to cut the potatoes. Nonna made these potatoes into spears, kind of like homemade fries. There you go. When she first started making these, I thought, well, she's just going to make homemade fries. You want to try and cut them all the same size, that way they'll roast the same way. This is a tiny little bowl. So you know what? I'm going to get a bigger bowl. Potatoes are chopped, and now I'm just going to crush a little garlic, and those are going to go in with the potatoes. And then I'm just going to slice it thin. This is one of the few times you're actually going to crush up garlic and mince it. Everybody thinks Italians, eat garlic for breakfast, and that's so not true. Lots of times Italians will put garlic into a dish, and they'll just put it in whole, or they'll just slice it. That way when you go to eat it, you can go ahead and pull the garlic out of the dish, and you actually don't eat it. Fennel seed, and this is called the erbe di angeli. It's the herb of the angels. See, and it has, Gianni got me some great fennel seed that actually has the pollen in with it. Yeah, so it's great. So we're going to mix that in there. Isn't it great? Profumo buono. A little salt. Pepe. Olive oil. Once again, the best tools in the kitchen, your hands. And we're going to kind of mix these up. And then you'll take this and put it on a roasting pan. And get those herbs out there.
Okay, I'm going to make my mother's chicken cutlets. So we got some chicken scallopini over here. This is the petit de pollo, the chicken breast that's been sliced, and I pounded it out nice and thin. And this is going to go in flour. Then it's going to go in an egg wash. I'm going to mix this up for you. All I've got in here is some salt and pepper, some pecorino romano, and some parsley. And then after we dip it in here, we're going to put it in the breadcrumbs. And I'm also making croquette de patate, some potato croquettes. And so we've got some boiled potatoes over here. I'm going to put them, I'm going to mash them after I peel them. And they basically are also going to get this same kind of mixture here. It's going to be some egg, some pecorino, some parsley, some salt, some pepper. And we're going to bread those, dip those in the egg, and then bread them also and fry them in a hot pan with some extra virgin olive oil and some canola oil. Okay, so I got a couple of fresh organic eggs here. I'm going to put this in with the parsley and the grated pecorino romano. I'm just going to beat this up a little bit. So that's pretty simple. This is a pretty classic egg wash. We're going to take one of our cutlets. We're going to lightly flour it. You can brush off any excess. We're going to stick it in here. I use my fingers. You don't have to. You can use tongs or a fork to pick these up. Just let that drain off a little bit, and then just get a nice breading on here. And basically we're going to do the same thing with all four of these. We're going to flour them up. We're going to put them in the egg wash and the breadcrumbs. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so I've got in this saute pan some canola oil flavored with a little extra virgin olive oil. I'm just bringing this up to temperature. I'm starting to smell it. We want to wait for a little rippling here. So you want to get that sizzle when they're going in. You want the oil good temperature because you don't want the breadcrumbs to absorb a lot of the oil. So I think I can squeeze 3 of them in here. These are going to be some good eating. There we go. Yeah, look at that, beautiful. These puppies are done. Just let those drain off a little bit. Okay, so we got our potatoes that have been boiled till they're knife tender. Now normally when I'm making the croquette, I'd use a ricer, but unfortunately we don't have a ricer, so I'm doing it with a fork. But you know, when you're in the kitchen, sometimes you gotta improvise. Okay, so we're gonna put a little bit of salt and pepper. I like a little bit of pepper in this croquette. I like that, you know, that spiciness. I'm gonna put a little extra salt just for the potatoes. And then remember that egg wash I had before? This is going to cook fully through. I'm going to just use enough of this to moisten the potatoes. So we want this egg to bind the potatoes, but we don't want it too wet. Now this gets a little messy, but let's see what we can do here. You just take a little bit of this, you form it like a torpedo in your hand. See what I'm doing here? Then just roll it to coat this with a little breadcrumb. And I'm smelling it. I could eat this just like this without even frying it. But we'll make a few of these up. And then, hey Mark, can you turn that pan back on to medium high? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Prego.
It's always good to have a second cook in the oven. I mean, in the kitchen. In the oven, it's pretty good in the oven too, right? Yeah, we like that too. Okay, enough talking. Get the hell out of the way. I got to put these in. Okay, so we're going to fry these up. Mark turned this back on for me. And I think we're going to have enough heat. A light breading, not as much as what I had on the cutlets. So you can give them a quarter turn. You can give them a half turn. Come back and do the other sides. And again, I'm right now on a kind of a medium heat. Okay, so these are done. We're going to take them right out. We're going to put them next to the cutlets over here. Let them drain a little bit. We're going to plate them up, and then we're going to fatta mangiare. We're going to eat. Hey, Marco, this looks great, right? We got chicken and potatoes from Lazio.
Chicken and potatoes from Campania.
So I'm going to eat yours and you're going to eat mine.
I can't wait. I can't wait to dig in.
All right, let's do it, man.
The crust on that is fantastic.
And if you want, put a couple of squeezes of lemon. So light.
Yeah, aren't they great?
Really light.
Really light.
What do you think? Nice?
That's a new recipe for me.
These potatoes roasted with the herby d'angeli, the pollen from the fennel plant, out of this world.
Spectacular.
Absolutely.
Grazie.
Grazie.
Thank you for having me here.
Si.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.